Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. Welcome to First Spiritualist Church of San Diego. This is the church where angels gather to welcome you. My name is Kaia Olivia. We have a great service planned for you today. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special thanks to Webmaster Just Jack and the digital media support team. At this time, I would like to thank and introduce our special panel guests today. Our musicians providing the uplifting sounds for us today, our pastor, Reverend Lorina, for centering thoughts, as well as inspiring lecture. I, Kaia, am your host for this service. Welcome. To begin, we would like to start off with our enlightened message from our pastor, Reverend Lorina Pyle.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy Easter. And, I've heard people ask about Spiritualist Church. Do you recognize Easter? Oh my gosh, this is it. This is evidence. Jesus demonstrating that life always continues and there is no death. That is what we're about. That's what we preach. That's what we teach. That's what we talk about is there is no such thing as death. That life always continues. The soul always evolves. And, for the demonstration of life after death, the Master Jesus has been an incredible instructor, incredible instruction, still continues to be this day and every day. And I know personally, everybody has their views on God, what to call God, all that is, universal intelligence, Mother, Father, God. Well, the same thing kind of goes with Jesus. I've heard people say, well, I don't know if Jesus really existed, and I don't know if I follow the stories. And, really, actually, everything is personal. Everything is based on what it feels like in your heart and in your soul. I mean, we are all taught things from the time that we're born that may not be our truth. But our emotional guidance system, that which we know by how we feel inside, that's what makes it real for us. And I know that ever since I was a little tiny girl, the first time I saw a picture of Jesus, it brought tears to my eyes, and I felt like I knew him personally and just fell in love with this being. And I remember seeing the picture of him at the garden, at the gate to the garden, and I thought, oh, I want to go in that garden, and what a beautiful energy. And then I saw a picture of him on the cross, and I was so confused because I believe I was around 3 years old, and I just thought, how could somebody do that to somebody, especially for their belief. And even though I was so young and had such little answers to questions, because I had a million questions, and I was always told, you'll find it out when you die. And I'm like, but that doesn't do me any good now. And when am I going to die? Does that mean I have to go through my whole life not knowing? But I remember it touched me so deeply that I just cried and cried. And some people may not resonate with crosses. It may bring different belief systems to heart or feelings. But for me, when I reflect on the story of Jesus and what he went through as a master and a teacher and a guide, what a beautiful commitment to this world that this being made coming here. And I am just in awe of the teachings and his unwavering devotion message of love. Love, love, love. And that's what it's all about, really. So I know also as a little girl, I saw things that other people didn't see and heard things that people didn't hear. And a very wise man taught me at a really young age, whenever you feel uncomfortable, you can always bring about the name of Jesus and command that energy to leave. And I use that to this day. I taught that same thing to my own children. And it may not work for everyone else, and that's okay. But it works for me. And when I feel some kind of energy that I can't recognize or that I do not want in my energy field, I say, in the name of the Lord Jesus, I command you to leave now. Leave my space, leave my thoughts. And then I take a breath in and it's clear and it works for me. So I just wanted to share that because sometimes when people hear spiritualist, they don't really understand what spiritual teachings are. And to me, you know, it's really to the fact of what I understand is people cling to dogma. People cling to religious sects because they're sects. Let me make sure I say that clearly. Because they've already been to hell, or okay, let me rephrase that. People cling to organized religion or sects or beliefs because they're afraid of going to hell. And for people, I believe, who learn and search and cling to those things that are spiritual, it's because we've already been through hell and we don't want to go back. So many people that I have found on this journey are here because it's a sense of knowing, of healing, of understanding and explaining why have we gone through these things and how can we, most importantly, not carry them through our life for the rest of our life. How do we heal? How do we grow? How do we evolve? And most importantly, how do we love? Because if you can't forgive, then love is almost like a foreign feeling. So on behalf of all of you, happy Easter. Yes, yes, we very much so acknowledge Easter. And I want you to just close your eyes and take in a deep breath. Allow yourself to be here and present and in the space of peace and light, opening up to receiving. And now we invite our teachers and our guides and our angels and our loved ones into our presence by simply inviting them in. Do this in your mind's eye or in your heart, in your feeling, in your knowing. Feel that shift in your energy, allowing yourself to be present and open. And we welcome you, wonderful guides, spirits, and angels. We thank you for your presence here with us now. We gratefully receive your love, your light, and your inspiration. Now take a breath in and exhale. Today's message comes to me through two different varieties. I'm going to go with the word flow. Flow, to flow effortlessly, easily, open. And I was talking with Kaia this morning, and she talked about a stream and how it just kind of flows through. And I was like, that's it. It's so connected. It's connected with today's message. Now, if you can visualize a stream with rocks all over in the stream. Now, when the stream rises, sometimes rocks that are blocking the water from going through just get knocked down. They get knocked down, and sometimes the water rises on the edge or it gets blocked up somewhere until the flow comes through strong enough to remove all the debris. And it removes the other rocks that are normally in the way, right? So to me, the way I was being explained to this by Spirit, and they were showing me, is we are technically everything. We're the riverbed, right? We're the rocks, we're the water, all of it. And sometimes everything's flowing nice and smooth and easily. And there's no disturbances. You'll see the little butterflies come and land on the rock. And then other times a storm will come and the water will rise and fear comes. Like, is it going to rise so high that everything's going to flood? And perhaps some of the rocks or the things that are there, maybe we have something beautiful that's sitting in our stream, some kind of decorative thing, and is our decoration going to get knocked away? And and when we can see ourselves as being the pure flow coming in from Spirit and working through us, if you'll notice that even when the storm is over and the water starts to go down, everything still fits into perfection. The rocks lay where they need to lay. The banks are still the same as they were. The cloudy, muddy water that we can't even see to the bottom eventually clears. And you can even sometimes see the fish that are flowing inside. So especially in what we would maybe consider turbulent of times, just know that it is in divine perfection. Just because we can't see the bottom of the riverbed maybe right now, doesn't mean that the water isn't going to become more pure than it ever has. So flow, feel, and know we are the riverbed. We are the rocks. We are the water. We are the debris. But most importantly, Spirit, God, all that is in charge of how the water turns off and on and how it all flows in. And when you have that complete faith and knowing that God, all that is, universal intelligence, is the one at the helm releasing the flow into you and down the stream, what is there really to worry about? Needing to control and worry about how it's all going to come about, that's not our job. Our job is just to know that we are the flow, all is in divine order, and if we just love ourselves, love the water, love the bed, love the rocks, love each other, and do not add to the chaos of confusion, do not add to the worry of how to fix everything, and just start putting our faith in knowing that this is all going to come out okay, and it always does. Then that's when we are truly in the flow. So take in another breath. And now in your mind's eye, I want you to see yourself as a clear running stream with no blockages, no rocks in the way that aren't being caressed by the water. The water's finding a way through it and removing any debris, any obstacles, any trouble, any negative thoughts. And just know that we are that divine perfection, and see that stream running clear. You may see some butterflies flying over that water and landing on a rock. You may see some deer coming over and drinking out of the stream. You may see some bears playing with their little cubs trying to fish a trout out of that, out of that stream if it's deep enough. And just see you, yourself, and the world and the perfection that you desire for it to be. God bless. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I felt that. That was so nice. Let's move on to our love offering. So, for all of you out there, just want to remind you, we updated our website. So, you have a couple options for a love offering, right? So, number one, if you want to kick it old school, you can write a check, put it in an envelope, go to our website, First Spiritualist San Diego, and then our address is right on the top in the middle.
It's 3777 42nd Street, San Diego, California, 92105.
Stick a stamp on it, throw it in the mail because we still have USPS going on. Send a little prayer to all the postal people, and then they will send that over to us, and we will appreciate it immensely because we got to keep the lights going, right? We get to keep the lights going. We get to be here with you. We get to house a space that is home for you. We're still praying for you, sending you love and light. So if you want to do PayPal online, that's one option in addition to the check. And then you can do Venmo. And Venmo is just first-spiritualist. And if you need that, you can just go reverse like 10 seconds on this video and you'll be fine. And last but not least, you can either put your phone or put your thoughts in your left hand. And whether it's something that you need, safety, love, happiness, satisfaction, appreciation, whatever emotion, whatever thing, whatever experience, whatever feeling that you need right now with us here, just place it in your hand, cover your hand with the other hand, and let us affirm 3 times together. Divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in my affairs. Divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in my affairs. Divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in my affairs. My hands are warm. Like, I want to dance. Like, I'm feeling good. Wow, that's exactly what I put in the intention. I was just like, love, joy, dancing, good vibes. Just good vibes, just keeping the vibes high, playing that music, bringing those wonderful, nourishing words and phrases into this space for us, for you out there, and for everyone that's watching. So, without further ado, let's get into the lecture introduction for Pastor Reverend Lorina. So, I literally drooled. I got so excited. I literally drooled, you guys. This is great. So,
oh, goodness.
So without further ado, let me let you know about our pastor. Pastor Reverend Lorina Pyle has been graced with the gifts of clairvoyance and clairaudience since the age of 3, a secret she had to keep throughout her formative years. Challenged by the turmoil and turbulence of extensive child abuse, Reverend Lorina began to search for answers to help heal her every very essence of her being. With the love and support of her wonderful husband and children, and the teachings and guidance of her gifted spiritual mentors, and amazing uplifting spiritual family and friends, she's worked very hard and dug deep, finally triumphing with an incredible self-transformation. In 2014, she released her book, Damaged, a survivor's story of the damage done by sexual and physical abuse. It is the first volume of a trilogy she is authoring that chronicles her life of abuse and torture as a child, her journey through life as a struggling survivor, and her ultimate spiritual discoveries that brought about the miraculous transformation that is her being today. Applying her studies with spiritualist teachings and mentors like me, she's transferred her past challenges into powerful tools of healing. Embracing her warrior within and calling upon her spirit guides, she now shares what she has learned with others, just like she's going to share with you right now, helping them to identify their individual strengths, to transform their personal challenges into valuable lessons for their own spiritual growth and unique, successful, and fulfilling life journeys. Lorina's life is filled with the blessed activities of a loving wife, mother of 8, as well as a grandmother. Having developed and earning certifications in multiple modalities of mediumship and healing, Pastor Reverend Lorina provides spiritual counseling as a minister. The First Spiritualist Church in San Diego, aka all of us, has sought her guidance for the past decade, both as assistant pastor and currently as our pastor, where she offers spiritual classes and workshops without any ado, without blah, blah, blah. Here we are. Pastor Reverend Lorina.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaia. And, well, Damaged, the book I released. You know, if I had to do it over again, I would have never have put Damaged, because that was a misconception that I spent my whole life believing, is because of my past I was damaged, and I carried it into my adulthood, and I made a lot of decisions based on that damage. And what I've learned overall, absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, is there is none of us here that are damaged, because you can't damage God. God is perfection. And I realize that I really wouldn't change my life for anything. And I spent a lot of time being jealous and looking at other people thinking, you know, if I had a place where I could wake up and feel safe and fed and electricity, I'd be the happiest person on earth. But in actuality, I learned so much. I learned that I am the happiest person on earth. And I am the most blessed, as are you, as are all of you. We are all blessed and we are all happy. And you know, when I was studying about being a creator and creating, the biggest thing that I had to overcome, which was my own obstacle, is if I create my own reality, then why in the world would I have created that? Why would I have created that kind of life? And sometimes I believe that we create these opportunities for ourselves, not just to overcome, but to refine and strengthen our spirit. And as I look through the progress that I've made, and you know, from the damage that was done as a child, I think the more that I brought into my adult life is more significant, because I was carrying the past with me, and I kept recreating it through my belief system. I kept recreating not only people that were going through the same thing or had happened to go through the same thing, but I was creating turmoil after turmoil because I was living in my past. And the biggest epiphany that I got from everything is the self is unlimited. And I created so many restrictions on myself. I can't do that because I wasn't educated. The big one was I can't love. I don't feel like I'll ever be able to trust anyone, especially in a relationship, especially as far as it came to sex, commitment, or any of these things, because that was such a profound, destructive part of my life. And now I can say that once I was able to realize that I am not the beliefs that I was taught, I am not the beliefs of what other people had programmed into me. Once I started to tear away that onion, that shell, to find out who I really am, well, first of all, it was a process that had to be done for real. Not fake it till you make it, but I mean for real. And any amount of therapy I went through didn't help. Absolutely, drugs did not help whatsoever. Running from my problems, whether it was alcohol or shallow relationships, or no matter what it was, that would never fix me. And I remember laying on the beach in Hawaii about 22 years ago thinking, I cannot live my life like this. I can't do it anymore. I had a handful of medication in the morning and a handful of medication at night just to help me cope with the post-traumatic stress disorder. And so I literally cried and I prayed and I said, God, if I'm supposed to be here, I need help. I need to figure out a way to be here and how to work through this, because I can't take this anymore. And being able to function, taking a handful of pills and shaking and having my memory lapse and nightmares, I says, I just can't do it. And that's when, you know, the next day I was in a store, in a thrift store, and the book fell off the shelf, Ask Your Angels. And it didn't just fall off the shelf and catch my eye, it fell off the shelf and blocked my wheel from my cart from rolling. And I picked that book up and I thought, wow, it's a really light book. How ironic, Ask Your Angels and a light book. And I took it home and I recorded the meditations in it, and that started my journey. I've always seen and heard and known energies, and this book helped me with meditating. So that was the beginning and the most profound part of my journey, learning how to still the mind, how to be quiet, how to go inside, most importantly, how to connect with the earth, how to be here, how to be okay with being here. And then again, how to raise my energy and how to connect with spirit. And when I learned how to raise my vibration and connect with spirit, then I was able to connect the vibrations with the other energies that I was seeing and hearing. So I began to realize and know about energy and how certain vibrations, whether it was a living person or a non-living being, that my energy would either match with or not match with. So that was step one, phase one for me. And there's been a lot of steps up to this point, and there's a lot more steps to go, but this time I'm not climbing like this. What I'm doing is I am embracing every step, embracing it and knowing this is what I chose to do. This is part of my journey. And through this, as I learn to climb, it's important for me not to put my beliefs or thoughts on anyone else. But if someone asks, how did you climb that step? I'll let you know. I'll not let you know how I did it from back then, but I'll let you know how I do it from here on out, from right now, with the power, with the integrity, with the light, with the connection of source, with all my guides and angels and loved ones. Yes, loved ones. Just because your loved ones are on the other side doesn't mean you just think of them and maybe they appear or maybe they don't. There is no boundaries. There is no limitations. When you want to connect with your loved ones, you can just close your eyes and send them messages. And maybe they can't stand right before you and give you messages, but I can guarantee they'll find a way to get to you. Oh, yeah. And they'll find a way to open doors for you. We are not here alone. We're not trying to figure this out alone. We have the incredible source of all that is, our family members and our guides to be here. You might get messages from feathers, pennies, water, signs, a person you've never met before, an animal. I mean, it's just incredible, but the point is to being in tune. And the biggest message, the most important message that I can give to you today is get to know yourself. Not who somebody tells you who you are, or not the reflection of your past, of what you thought you were, not what, you know, whether it was a foster home or whether it was your parents, your siblings, whether it was your school teachers, church members. I'm not talking about any of that because that's then. And you stand in your power now. And, you know, there's a whole other discussion we'll do sometime about going in and actually changing your past so that you can be more present. But I'm going to simplify this right now. And I'm going to tell you that once you really get to know your energy, and most of all know, hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with me. I'm a really great person. I am not any kind of false belief systems or forms that were implanted in me, because when you start to get to know your energy, you will honestly start noticing that there is no limitations. There are no boundaries. That is self-imposed from someone else's belief system. But sometimes they're implanted so deeply that we hold on to it and we carry it into today. Now, the most important part is don't be hard on yourself, you know, because we sometimes do slip back into old patterns. We slip back into those belief systems. But once you get to know your energy, you can catch it quicker and you can change it. And this is when courage steps in. Courage is when you're able to remove people or circumstances from your life that no longer support the being that you are now. You don't have to be mean about it, but you do have to stand in your power and learn that it's okay to love yourself. In fact, how could you not love yourself? If you're not loving yourself, if you feel conflict in any way, shape, or form, I can guarantee you, you are not vibrating in your own energy. You have stepped back into what you've been told, taught, or experienced. And this is really important too. Even if you are raised in a situation where your parents or whoever it is you're raised with tells you how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, how strong, how smart you are, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to carry that with you, because we're very visual creatures. If you've spent your life with a person who didn't feel that way about their own self, then chances are you've brought some of that with you. And that's a minute to recognize. You know, that's even a little bit more difficult to recognize. I want to share a little story with you on how this really came to light for me. So throughout my life in the 70s, mobile homes, oh my goodness. Yeah, I had a few mobile homes that I wasn't very fond of living in. And I stayed with a very special friend last summer, kind of like a vacation, a much needed vacation, home away from home. And I woke up in the bedroom and there was, in the corners, this strip of wood in the whole corners of the ceiling. And it dawned on me right then, oh my God, that's where I got that from. So when I lived in a mobile home a couple different times growing up, I spent a lot of time in my room alone looking at the ceiling. And later on in life, and I love to paint, especially when I'm all about changing energy. And I'm one of those people that'll get up at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night and be like, I'm gonna paint. And I painted my whole bedroom, and it was a beautiful cobalt blue with a pink ceiling, yeah. But I wanted to put a brown strip of wood in the corner so that I could kind of define where the two colors meet. And my husband came in, and of course, him being a woodworker, that's where I got the wood. And I said, can you get me this wood so that I can line this? And then I put the wood up, and oh, I loved it. And he says, you know, I've never seen that. It wasn't crown molding. It isn't that. It's a whole different piece of wood, right? And he says, well, I've never seen anybody do that. Why do you do that? And I says, well, I don't know. It just looks right. So now put this story together. I've done this my whole life, but it didn't come to my mind why until July of 2019. When I was laying there in that bedroom and I saw that strip of wood in that mobile home around the ceiling, and I said, oh my God. If I adapted the need for that to look normal to me, how many other things did I adapt into my being and into my mind that was not pointed out to me, that was not taught to me, that was not talked to me? But now I own it. Now it feels normal. So now I want to share another little story with you. Somebody had just given me a book, The Woman That Walks with Wolves. And I opened up the center of the book. And the story that I read was really profound to me. It was in the 70s, and they were doing an experiment. And there was a cage, and they put a dog in the cage. Now, on the left-hand side of the cage, they made the cage electrocute. And the dog went to the right side of the cage. So they kept the dog, and this isn't like a bad, mean, hurt the dog thing. I'm sure that it was just longing. Well, actually, I would never do that to any animal. So I have to pull that back and say they did some strange things in the name of science. But the story that came from it is extremely important. And I know that there is somebody out there right now that needs to hear this story. And I did not come here with this lecture planned at all. So I absolutely know that this is information that is going to really benefit someone. So the dog moved to the right side of the cage. And the dog would try to go back to the left, but so it would go back to the right. So several times of getting electrocuted, the dog learned to stay on the right side of the cage. So then they left the left side to not electrocute and started electrocuting the right side of the cage. So they would electrocute the cage and the dog would go to the left. But the dog was so used to being on the right side of the cage that it kept trying to come back, but it would get electrocuted, so it would go to the left side. So this went on for a while, and now the dog learned to stay on the left. Well, now they started electrocuting the whole bottom of the cage. And the dog would tolerate it and tolerate it. And it wasn't like a constant electrocuting. It was just once in a while hitting that switch. So after about a week of this, all of a sudden they opened up the cage door. And you know what? The dog never tried to leave. The dog got so used to the pain that it just stayed there. And I thought to myself, how many times in my life did I get used to the pain? How long did I get used to being spoke to badly? How long did I get used to being in poverty, which would be to me the lack of abundance, the lack of knowing that I am abundant, that I can create abundance, the lack of knowing that I have the ability to do whatever it is in my life I want to do. I don't have to stay in a situation or a position where I'm not at peace, where I'm not in love, where I don't feel loved, where I'm not surrounded by the love and the light that my soul requires. And how often did I just get so used to being in a negative situation, whether it's a job, a relationship, my home, church, school, I mean, anywhere in the world. How many times do we allow ourselves to just deal with it because we don't think we have another way out? And how many times in our childhood did we learn something we didn't even know we were learning, and we brought that into our now, and it seems normal, you know? It seems so little to have that wood around. But you know what? I'm not going to do that with color separation anymore. Just for the fact of, I'm going to show myself that from here on out, I'm creating my whole new belief system. I'm creating a place of where I want to be. And if it's a change that suits me and I love it, then I'm going to keep going with the change. But if it's something from the past that brings me comfort and joy because I love it, I'm keeping it. But from now on, I'm going to take time to evaluate everything. This is my lecture. I wrote 2 things down today, and I had no idea really what I was going to speak about because it doesn't do any good. I can plan something, and Spirit always has a whole different point of view, a whole different outlook.
Yep.
And what I wrote here is, ideas and beliefs create the fabric of my reality. Ideas and beliefs create the fabric of my reality. The second part, the self is not limited. I am not limited. Most importantly, evaluate outside data. Evaluate outside data. That means whatever it is, when I feel a shift in my energy, instead of accusing someone else, instead of saying, well, if I had more money or if I had better health, or I'm acting like this because there's something going on in my family, you know, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to pause. And I'm going to say, my feelings are my responsibility. Why am I allowing myself to make excuses? Why am I feeling depleted? Why do I not have my groove on? Why do I not feel connected? What's going on the inside? And most importantly, I'm not going to go back through all my garbage and sift and sort, because I already had the spiritual garbage truck take that away a long time ago. And I'm just going to stay focused in the moment. And if I am not feeling warm or fuzzy, or if I feel like I have to blame something on someone else, it's simply going to go back to basics. Meditation, becoming aware of my energy, my vibration, And I can't blame it on other energies. Well, maybe there's a negative energy in the room. Maybe somebody else's energy has attached itself to me. Because I'm telling you, the light is the strongest energy. Love is the most powerful tool in this planet. And where there is light, there can be no darkness. And when you have self-love, love, 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 that's what you're emanating. And if someone else isn't carrying that same vibration, they're not going to be able to sit in your energy field. You are going to annoy them. You are going to be abrasive to them because misery loves company. But so does love. So does light. And it's not about going through your life, well, I need to forgive this person and I need to forgive that person and I need to forgive myself, because that's the song I used to sing. But all it's about now is being aware of my energy. How am I vibrating? And most importantly, I'm not responsible for how you all feel. I'm not responsible for how you vibrate or how you are connected or if you're aligned. That is each of ours. But if you want to come to me and you want to say, you know, I'm feeling a little bit distracted, distorted, or whatever it is, because I do counsel, but I'm not going to listen to your story and feed the flame and say, well, it's okay, you had a bad past, you have a right to feel this way. I'm going to tell you, you have a right to feel the best you can feel. You have a right to be filled with joy, love, peace, and abundance, because that's what we really are. That's who we truly are. And if you want the tools to get to that place, if you want the empowerment, if you want to learn how to meditate, and I don't mean just sit back and follow a guided meditation and hope you can connect, and then you're just kind of listening but not there. No, it's real. It's not fake it till you make it. It's be there, be real, feel your emotions. And sometimes it's so scary to feel your emotions. Sometimes it's so scary to go into dark places, but you know what? Sometimes you need to. And it's really important, because instead of like taking drugs or drinking alcohol, and I am in no way saying quit your medication and dump your therapist. That's not what I'm promoting here. I'm saying if you have to take those drugs, then you bless those drugs. And if you have to go to a therapist, then you pray for your guides and your angels to send you to somebody who is going to help you, not just cloud you. But search for that help. Ask your loved ones. They will open the doors for you. They really will. But most importantly, go through the emotion. But do it clear-headed and clear-minded. And don't do it, well, I'm scared because this is how it happened in the past. Don't step back in the past. Stand in your presence. Stand with who you are and what you are, and know that everything you've ever gone through is extremely important. It is delicious. It's wonderful because it makes you who you are. And if you don't recognize who you are and know how amazing you are, then you're not in the present. You're listening to somebody else's beliefs. So that was really big for me, seeing that wood on the ceiling. One little thing, because it just made me realize, you know, I need to be me. And I'm okay. I'm okay with me. So would you do me a big favor right now? And I want you to place your hands on your heart. And I mean for real. Because you are God. You are baby God. Mother, Father, God, creator of all the universe. That is what we are created from, in, and with, in divine perfection. So if you have a hard time connecting with the physical self, right now connect to the God that's within you. And now take a deep breath in. And say, I'm okay with me.
I'm okay with me.
I'm okay with me.
I'm okay with me.
I am love.
I am love.
I am peace.
I am peace.
I am perfect.
I am perfect.
I stand in my power.
I stand in my power.
The power of truth.
The power of truth.
My truth.
My truth.
Love.
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 I am love.
I am love.
Now take in a deep breath. Give me the heart. Heart, let's do it. Ready for the heart explosion? Bam!
Bam!
I love you all so very much. And please, please trust in your guidance. Trust in your emotional guidance system. And if you're feeling down or out, evaluate. Evaluate outside data. Not figure it out, but figure it in. Figure it in. God bless you all. I love you.
Thank you. Applaud.
Thank you, Spirit.
Applaud. Let's applaud.
Thank you. Thanks, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, me. And thank all of you for being here today, really, honestly. Thank you for your love and your support. Also, please, this information can go all around the world, and can you imagine how helpful when we spread this love, when we spread this light? Like, share, subscribe, share all over the place. There is no walls, no limitation. And on behalf of First Spiritualist Church, the Board of Trustees, myself, and our spiritual community, and boy, we have a big, loving family that I can't wait to see and hug. I'm probably going to cry the whole day when we're able to be here, just because there's going to be so much love flowing through us. So let's put that love out through the web. You see the like button right there? Push it. Share and subscribe.
That was so beautiful. I want to give a special shout out to any newcomers. Hi, newcomer. If this is your first time here, can you please let us know in the comments, or go to our webpage, contact us, let us know so we can give you a virtual hug, a virtual hello, bring some warmth and love into your life.
And healing.
And healing.
Yes, and pay,
Okay, and now
keep
pray
on
for
board,
the show.
because somehow we're trying to brainstorm a healing service through the internet as well, so that we can intentionally start bringing the healing through. And that way, we can just spread this love, light, and abundance and healing all through the universe. But it happens because you've taken the time to push this message through the world. So thank you for that.
You. Without further ado, I'd like to present our special music with Dave Millard and Marcy. They're going to start out with a chant, followed by some beautiful guitar playing. So enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. This is Marcy, and here on my right is Dave. And we're happy to be here with you. We're going to be asking you to sing with us. We'd like to do an Indian-style chant. In India, chanting is a form of prayer. And when we pray for healing sometimes, or we pray for guidance or understanding. But one of the highest prayers is to pray for awareness of the love of God. And when we ask God to gift us with His love, and when we offer our love to God, then that is the spiritual experience that takes place during this kind of chanting. The chant we're going to sing today was written by Paramahansa Yogananda, who many of you know. It's called At Thy Feet. And it is a devotional chant, and the image is offering flowers to the divine from the garden of our hearts and laying those flowers at the feet of Spirit. So as you're chanting, you can visualize whatever aspect of Spirit appeals to you. Today is Easter, so perhaps you want to visualize laying those flowers at the feet of Christ. But perhaps you'd rather think of Buddha or or Divine Mother, or any other aspect of God that appeals to you. So I invite you to please chant with us, even though we're here away from you. We invite all of you to chant wherever you are from your hearts and
That's right.
feel the presence of God with us. Thank you. Listen to my soul song. Listen to my heart song. Listen to my soul song. Listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping down in the ocean, I will live and
lovely people out there. Welcome. This is going to be a little East meets West. I heard Ravi Shankar when I was quite young, and this is not at all to be construed as a traditional raga, but you know, here we make up a lot of stuff. So this is a Western raga style. Dedicated to everyone's well-being and health. Hope to all.
Welcome back. Wasn't that beautiful special music? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Before we conclude our service, Reverend Lorina?
Yes, let's just take this moment to close our eyes and go inward. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has donated, whether it's donations of money, time, love, or healing, or intentions, and ask that all of the monies that have been donated are blessed so that they may be used for the highest and best good of First Spiritualist Church. I ask blessings upon all of those who have sent, and I don't even have to ask because I know that we're already blessed. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you, wonderful Spirit, for the blessings, the unlimited abundance that is flowing through all of us and this church now, and the abundance that flows through all of those who have donated. I want to say thank you, wonderful Spirit, for this beautiful church, and for all of those who have helped to be able to get this message out, to keep people tuned in and tapped in and turned on in the great words of Abraham. And I just am so thankful that we can all be here together to be that sense of support and love and light. And may we all take time to be friendly, but be friendly to yourself first, because that is the way that we can feed the world with love, is through ourselves and to the world, knowing that we are an unlimited source that comes from all that is. God bless, and see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for coming to service. Happy Easter!
Happy Easter!